Today's video is a special one because in today's video, I'm not the photographer. I get to be the subject. I was specifically excited to do this shoot, not only because my friend Steven is incredibly talented, shoots portraits on film, and overall it's just, I knew, going to make something really wonderful, but also because of something I mentioned in my previous video, which was really trying to work at becoming better at directing and making a really exciting and fun environment when shooting with models and upping my portrait skills. So I realized that this would be a really awesome opportunity to step out from behind the camera and get in front of the camera, get a new perspective, and get to work with someone who has a lot of skill in the very area that I want to grow. Now in the studio, we set up a couple different settings. So the first one was this really cool patchwork denim backdrop. It was made of real denim that somebody had sewn together, and it was really beautiful. I was so excited to get to shoot with that as part of the background. And then the other shot that we put together was utilizing a giant softbox so that we could create some silhouettes in black and white film. And that was really exciting to put together because neither of us had really shot in that way before, especially not on film. So it also was a good opportunity for us to exercise our brains a bit in putting those shots together. As we went through the shoot, we got to talk a lot about photography, a lot about different kinds of techniques, portraits, and even just things going on in our lives. It was really fun, and that was something that, it was really a conversation, something I took with me as I started to think about how I could implement some of those skills into my own work, is finding those points of conversation. Probably a little bit easier for Steven and I since we knew each other before this. Maybe a little bit more difficult if that person that you're shooting is a stranger, but definitely something critical that I think makes the shoot flow much easier. Now, towards the end of the shoot, we had a little bit of extra time before we needed to get out of there, so I threw together an interview with Steven, and I want to share a few snippets from that conversation.
It's just like more for me to practice studio lighting. I'd like to get into more fashion and editorial photography and with film as well. So it's just like honing in on my skills and getting better and yielding, more impactful results. I think personal challenges I have when I go through a shoot, especially like personal projects, would be to focus on the lighting to get better at using actual studio lights, as well directing the model, especially male models. I mainly work with like female models, so it's like nice to try to work with more male models. So I kind of had that in mind as well as we did this shoot today. Especially like with poses, I'm not one for like being put in a box of like it needs to be masculine, it needs to be feminine, but it's just like seeing how the poses flow between that and like what works. So I chose to use my medium format camera for today's shoot because I really like the way light is captured and like the kind of texture and the feeling that medium format has, that film photography has in general. There's just something that like when I shoot digitally versus film, there's something more in the film that moves me. With the size of the negative, it just offers like a really good quality photo. When it's right, like it's right, and it's like sharp and it's good and the colors are nice. And I think that's something that sometimes is not achievable with certain cameras. I think for this shoot today that we did, my favorite setup was probably with the softbox behind you to create like a silhouette effect. That's my first time kind of like messing with that, and I've of course seen tutorial videos on it, and so it's kind of geared towards experimenting with that. If you'd like to see some of my work and samples, you can follow me on Instagram. at Cinephile Baker. It's CINEPHILEBAKER. Don't ask me why it's Cinephile Baker, but it is. Yeah, and you can check out my work there.
So all in all, I had an amazing time and the photos came out really wonderfully. If you want to check out Steven's work, I highly recommend it. You can find his Instagram in the description to this video. He has a lot of work up on Instagram. Now, with that said, this is the end of the video, but I always want to hear from all of you, especially since you all have a robust bit of knowledge, whether that be behind the camera as a photographer or in front of the camera as a model, or maybe in some cases you get to do both. Please, in the comments below, leave me any of your tips, tricks, and perspectives from the experience that you have. And if you don't have any experience, just drop by and say hey in the comments. I always appreciate getting to chat with people about a variety of things. And as I always mention, I'm creating videos every single week, so if you want to stay in the know for when new videos are coming out, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell, and that way you'll know when a new video drops. Otherwise, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. In the meantime, I'll see you in the next one.